Hello, sippers. I'm Martia,
I'm Demetrius.
And I'm Renee.
and welcome to this week's episode of Sippin' Unwine True Crime Podcast. So, ladies, what are we sipping?
Okay, so I had a hard day. So what I'm sipping on is some of my pineapple Ciroc vodka, a little harder
Ooh.
than the wine that I usually do because, I need a little extra pick me up for right now. So
Ooh.
yeah, I'm sticking with the vodka right now. What about you guys?
Ooh.
Demetrius, what are you sipping on this afternoon?
Well, I have a little margarita mix over here.
Ooh,
My
that sounds
husband
good.
gave me a little nice margarita hook because he saw I was stressed out with the computer and things. So I have a little hook going on with a little margarita mix in it.
Ooh, you're
You
gonna be
sound
real.
like
You're gonna
me.
be me and you are both gonna be feeling real good by the end of this episode. What about you,
Okay.
Martia?
I
Okay.
think the three of us are going to be feeling good because, like my girl Demetrius, I was a little frazzled over here about my equipment not functioning correctly. So yes, I kind of went strong. I have a margarita as well, but
Dang.
I spiked mine with a little crown
Yeah.
apple, or maybe a
Oh,
Ooh.
that
lot of
sounds
crown
good.
apple, a little or a lot. You guys be the judge.
It's probably a lot. It's probably a little to you, but a lot for me. We're
Okay.
going on past history.
So today's case for our true crime episode is focused on Amanda and Grant Hayes. Did you ladies get a chance to look at that case by any chance? Just say
I
yes
did,
or
and they're
no.
both crazy, but he's more crazy than she is, but they're both crazy. I'll just put that out there now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into a little summary of what the backstory is so our sippers can know exactly what we've looked into here and they can understand this case. So, Amanda Hayes was an up and coming actress born in 1972. Her husband, Grant Hayes, was an up and coming musician born in 1979. Not only are they husband and wife, but on July 24th, 2007, divers found pieces of human remains in a creek and somehow have tied it back to Amanda and Grant. So, when Amanda was growing up, just a little backstory on her life. Her family did a lot of moving. She ended up marrying at a very young age. She married someone a little bit older than her. She had a baby when she was a teenager. But by the age of 20, she was divorced. She relocated to a new state. She left her family behind. And she and her daughter started a new life in New York City. And that's where she began her acting career. So Amanda was actually in shows such as The Sopranos and The OC. So she actually had a little bit of fame before she moved to the Virgin Islands in 2007. Amanda did suffer from depression, and during that time, she met Grant Hayes shortly after she moved to the Virgin Islands. She was 37, he was 30. Grant Hayes, he was born in 1979 and grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina. As a young adult, he got into music and was playing the guitar, and he was performing the local club scenes when he was a young adult. And he actually became a well known singer in Raleigh, North Carolina. So he was also a little famous as well. Now, Grant Hayes, we're getting into a little love triangle here.
Mhm.
Are y'all keeping up with me, ladies?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So here's where it gets a little tricky. Grant Hayes met Laura Akerson, who was 22 years old when she met him. They got together, they eventually had two kids, but they were struggling to make ends meet. Grant was not making as much money as he thought he would with his music career. Laura was having trouble bringing in some money as well. So the whole entire family moved to the Virgin Islands. So Grant Hayes, Laura, and their two children, they moved to the Virgin Islands. But unfortunately, when they moved, the couple started having trouble. Laura decides to leave Grant and move back to the States. So Laura
Mm.
decides to leave Grant after having some trouble. She moved back to the States and she took the two kids with them. So when Amanda and Grant met, they both had things going on in their life. So Amanda was depressed. Grant was fresh out of his relationship with Laura. And Amanda
Cocktail
was
for I don't know. Depression and fresh out of a relationship on bad
mm-hmm.
terms. Man.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Amanda met Grant, she was at one of his shows. And child, she worked her magic. They started talking. She convinced Grant to teach her guitar lessons. That's a good one right there.
I
That's
know.
a
No, she didn't make me about this
Ooh.
about no guitar. Get out of here.
like wow.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
so he taught her guitar lessons, but of course, what do y'all think happens next? it flourished into a relationship, and they ended up being together. So one thing that Grant was letting Amanda know is that he really loved his kids and he wanted his kids to be a part of their lives. So Amanda and Grant got married in Vegas in 2010. And during that time, Grant was also going back and forth in the courts with Laura to gain custody of their sons. So in 2010, Amanda and Grant got married. In 2011, Grant was given custody of his two sons. But get this, Amanda, at 39 years old, was also pregnant. So she eventually gave birth to her and Grant's newborn baby girl. So
Ooh.
New family. Amanda and Grant, they've got his two kids. They have a new baby. But unfortunately, Laura was just left without her kids. She went through some issues, being depressed, trying to find work, and she wanted to actually get back custody of the children. So she was trying to fight in the courts to gain back, if not full custody, partial custody of her sons. So
she lost custody altogether of her sons?
She did.
Man.
Yep. And basically, Laura wasn't making enough money to support the kids. That was a big part of it. That, and so Grant was able to prove that he was the better fit because he had the finances coming in and what have you. So,
wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right? Unfortunately, that left Laura Akerson without her babies, her two sons, and she started to get her life together as far as finding employment, talking to the courts about either gaining partial custody of her sons or even regaining full custody. But unfortunately, Laura Akerson was reported missing on July 18, 2011 in Kingston, North Carolina. Her co-worker, one of her good friends and co-workers, had not heard from her in 5 days, and she decided to go ahead and call and report her missing. So
after 5 days?
Yeah, she said she tried to call her phone, wasn't getting an answer. And they were friends, but co-workers. Yeah. And I guess they probably didn't talk every day. I kind of was wondering where her parents were because I know her father did some interviews, so I did see that. But I guess, everyone's not talking to their parents every day. So understandable with that as well. But unfortunately, the co-worker did say that Laura was concerned for her life and did mention that if something happened to her, that they need to look into her ex-boyfriend Grant. So on the day that Laura was last heard from, she had a work meeting, and then after the work meeting, she headed to Raleigh to pick up her children. But the co-worker said the meeting was during the week on a Wednesday, and it was very unusual that Laura would ever get her kids during the week. So for the co-worker, that was a red flag. She said also Laura told the co-worker that she was going straight to Grant's home, and the co-worker said Laura never goes to their house. Laura always meets them in a public space. So, of course, the authorities decided to contact Grant, and Grant basically lied, saying that, yes, Laura came to his home, but he said Laura told him she was having hard times. And he told the authorities that he gave Laura some money, like $20,000. He let her borrow some money so she can go away for a minute, get her life together while he keeps the kids full time. And then she gets back on her feet, and then she can come back and see the boys whenever that happens. He told this big old story about him helping her out, her going away, leaving the kids. She was supposed to come back later, et cetera, et cetera.
But where's he getting this money from? You just can't throw that number out like that. Do you have money like that? I thought they both had hard times, weren't they?
Exactly. I'm going to get to that. So also the co-worker was basically saying too that not only did Laura mention being afraid for her life, but Laura had also shared with the co-worker that Grant had been abusive to her in the past. So that was another factor in her trying to regain custody of her boys. So when she went missing in July, the authorities found out that August the 15th of 2011, just a few weeks later, they were set to have a court hearing about the custody issue with the son. So the authorities were like, wait a minute, red flags all over. So they ended up trying to go and find Grant to interview him in person because they were calling his phone. Grant was answering, but Grant was acting like he was at home taking care of the children. But no, Grant and Amanda had gone to another state. They left North Carolina and drove all the way to Texas. The authorities find out that Grant wasn't where he was supposed to be because they were checking the towers that his cell phone was pinging off of.
He's so stupid. He didn't know about that? Like, really?
Right, exactly. Look, obviously they don't watch the ID channel like
we do,
ladies.
Like everybody know that. Like, dude, really?
Right. So the authorities traced the signals of the towers to Amanda's sister's house. The authorities go to Amanda's sister's house. Her name is Karen. And Karen said that Amanda and Grant did show up to her house. They showed up unexpected, but they weren't there anymore. So the police were like, well, hey, why were they here? Why did they come see you? And what did they do while they were here? So Karen said that Amanda and Grant came with a moving truck, and they said they were dropping off this heirloom dresser. So she said she found that to be kind of odd, but they moved that dresser into her home. They gave it to her. She said the dresser belonged to a grandmother or something like that, and Amanda wanted to make sure the sister got it, right? But Karen said that as they were Karen said that as they were moving the dresser off the truck, she noticed about 5 coolers on the truck. So, in the U-Haul, they have the dresser and coolers, and that's it. So Karen thought that was kind of weird because she said Amanda also asked her, where can they go fishing at night? And Amanda even asked her sister, was there a lake nearby with alligators that would possibly eat human remains? Like, this is...
Stop it.
So wait a minute. So you just asked that out the blue. Not that you've done it in the past. Just all of a sudden, you're like, hey, where can I go fishing at night that has alligators?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but the coerce of dropping off a dresser, and then you go, oh, okay, where can we go?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just random all over.
Yeah.
I had to sip my drink real quick for that one because
okay.
And this is Amanda's sister actually telling them the things that she said and did while she was there. So Karen goes on to say that the couple actually went out night fishing and got a boat or whatever, and acted like they were going fishing, and she just thought that behavior was so strange. So once the authorities investigated and kind of traced the steps, and they found out that there was a nearby creek called Oyster Creek near the sister's home, and they searched that creek, and unfortunately they actually found Laura's body parts in that creek. So
she was in the cooler.
So Amanda and Grant, basically what they did, when Laura, she did arrive to the home, and Grant did say that, but she did not leave with no $20,000. Basically, when she got to the home, they said almost, I don't know how the authorities know the timing of it all, but they said almost immediately Grant basically strangled Laura, so he killed her. And so that night they
in front with the kids there.
And I was thinking the same thing,
kids.
Right? Because in the articles I read didn't necessarily say where the kids were, but I'm thinking if it was late at night, they were probably there in the bed. Right? Exactly. Yeah, he had custody of them, so they were probably there in the bed. So he kills her, and then him and Amanda, his wife, dismembered her body and put her in those coolers, and involved the sister. Poor Karen. They showing up talking about, hey, we've got this family heirloom. We just felt like we just wanted to get in the car one day and bring it to you. So here they've involved her in the investigation because, of course, authorities and traced the phone back to her house, knocking on her door. And so anyway, they ended up finding parts of her body in that muddy creek, but they also found they actually used acid to try to get rid of her fingerprints and whatnot. So they found the acid bottles and other things that were used as evidence, like on the side of the road, but still in the area where the sister lived. So they had planned this out all along, that they were going to commit this crime.
Oh my gosh.
In North Carolina, drive to Texas thinking they were going to be getting rid of the evidence. So here's the kicker. This is what got me. So of course the couple gets arrested. Now by that time they had left the sister's house, as I stated earlier. They were at Grant's mama's house when they got arrested. So they arrest the couple. The couple goes to court. Here's where it gets kind of sick, because I mentioned their career earlier. Amanda was an actress. Grant was a musician. Do y'all know that Grant had a song? He called it Broomstick Rider. And the lyrics of that song, in those lyrics, he talked about killing a woman, which the authorities now know that he was talking about killing the mother of his kids.
Oh, wow.
So listen, when they played that song as evidence in the courtroom, I want to call him a name so bad, but that guy was bopping his head to the song. Like sitting there on trial in the courtroom, they played this song, Broomstick Rider, and he's bopping his head to the song. Is that not crazy? That's sick. So like one of the lyrics is, I put a price tag on your head. Another lyric says, don't say I didn't warn you. And of course it goes on from there. I didn't Google the song, but some of the lyrics were included in the source, that I got this information from. But anyway, he decided displayed other very odd behavior in court, which included laughing with his attorneys. He even tried to say that Amanda was the one who actually killed Laura, which
also he done put it off on his wife.
He tried to say that it was her who committed the murder, but he was the one who helped her get rid of the body. So in essence, he didn't take himself completely out of the situation, but he was trying to get a lesser charge is what I'm thinking. But at any rate, Grant Hayes was found guilty and he was sentenced to life in prison with no parole on first-degree murder charges, I think. And then Amanda was found guilty of second-degree murder charges and she was sentenced to 16 years. So since that case has, been closed and they were found guilty, Amanda, it is possible that she could receive more time because she was given additional charges for helping to dump Laura's body. And now I'm not well versed in the law, so I'm not sure why that was a later charge. I don't know why that wasn't included initially, but I just know that was just a snippet, that she could get more time in addition to her 16 years. And guess what? This fool Grant keeps trying to outdo himself. He actually made a failed attempt to try and escape from prison after
I saw that he tried to escape, but I didn't see how. What did he try to do? Do you have more information on that?
I don't know exactly how he tried to escape, but it just said he did not get off the yard, so yeah, but that's interesting.
So you don't feel like you belong in jail? Like you just don't feel like you belong in jail?
What I want to know is if he was going to try to escape, I want to know where was he going to try to go after he got out?
I guess they just want to go out. They just want to be out. Nah, bro, you got to stay.
That
you need to do years.
That's crazy. So his 2 kids, along with his new kid, his 3 kids, don't have a father in their life or a mother, just because what? Really?
Exactly.
So what was his motive? Just to keep full custody of the kids?
Well, that's exactly. So it's funny because
I'm trying to figure out the motive.
Exactly.
Why?
A note that I have here is not a note to really tell y'all, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. But my whole star was why did they have to kill her? Because he had full custody. But I think what was happening, like I said, with Laura trying to go back to court to regain either full custody herself or partial custody, I think at the end of the day, maybe Grant was scared that maybe she was gonna take the kids back. But now you've taken yourself completely out of their lives, and they don't have anybody now. So yeah, very disheartening. And yeah, I agree. And it's hard to find out too with some of these cases. It's hard to kind of find information on the children since they're minors.
Yeah.
But I really was wondering, because if that was all in 2011, it's been about 10 years. I was wondering, who actually got custody of the kids, But yeah, that's a sad story.
It is. And I wish I had the quote in front of me. I don't have it, but I was reading up on that, and Grant Hayes' mother, they asked her about the kids or something like that. And I remember she said something about the kids are resilient and they get over stuff quickly, so they shouldn't be affected that much by, their mother's death.
I like how people just exclude kids' feelings, like kids don't matter and their feelings.
And this is before they charged him, but just because of, it was talking to her about the death. Yeah. She was saying since they're so young, they should be okay. Are you crazy? But I guess so. I mean, look what you birthed.
Exactly. That is terrible.
Yeah, that is.
I bet if he would have gotten out, he would have went straight on to his mama's house and she would have held him. She would have housed him there.
But I saw that they both got divorced.
Years
back. So I guess, because she gets out soon. I see she gets out in, I think 2026.
Really?
Yeah.
So then that means that the possibility of her getting extra time, it sounds like that did not happen, because that would be about 16 years from 2011 then.
No, okay. Must be like time, sir. I think it was 26. I don't think it was 2027.
So what was she getting out on? Good behavior? Her time?
No, I think that was her time.
That would be her 16 years in 2026.
Dude, she need to be in there for life. You really helped assist to get rid of a body.
Exactly. And I feel like even if she didn't kill Laura, I feel like anyone who aids and abets, if you could say it that way, when you help dismember a body, or you were there, you were along for the ride, you rode to Texas with him to help get rid of the body and everything.
Get out of here.
You needed to get just as much time as the actual person who committed the crime, in my opinion.
Right.
So I can only imagine, I can't imagine what Laura's family probably feels after seeing that, okay, one one person, he is in jail for life, but this other person has 16 years. And the interview that Laura's father did, I just, you could just see in his eyes, like it looked like he probably cried the whole interview, which is understandable.
Oh,
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? He just looks so brokenhearted. And I'm not sure if her mother's still living or not, but it was just the father that I saw that got interviewed. But just, they didn't have anything bad to say about Laura at all. So that was what I didn't understand, is like, why was he so angry with her?
And why'd you have to do that to her body too,
Right.
afterwards? Like,
Exactly.
that just, yes.
So yeah, and it's amazing what happens in the name of love. Like,
Yeah, things that you do.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
you know, like, and I'm not riding on the passenger side in nobody's car that's talking about taking a life and all this other you know, but she rode with her husband.
Right. And I seen where she said that she was scared for her life, and that's why she helped him. I was like, BS.
So they didn't
Exactly.
testify at the same time. Their testimony was different. I mean, their court
Then they probably
hearing.
had two different trials, or did they have the same?
Okay.
I think they
Okay.
had two different trials. Yeah. Because once he tried to say that she was the one who killed Laura, that's what separated them. So they had two different trials. Now, I don't think he testified, but he just spoke like, hey, she did it, not me, right? But Amanda did. She testified in her own trial, and it was a tearful testimony. Like Renee said, she tried to say she was scared and whatnot. But yeah, 16 years is not enough time. And then I wonder, like, do you serve those 16 years and then you get your 16-year-old daughter? Because, you know, the baby was an infant when all this went down. So do you get out of jail and you get custody of your 16-year-old daughter? You know, because the adult daughter, she did an interview and talked, you know, in detail about the case from her perspective as a child growing up at that time. So her oldest daughter is probably at least in her late 20s, early 30s, maybe even older at this point, right? But
It just
the
makes you
baby,
wonder about the stuff that goes through people's minds to do this. Like, you know, when you get caught, like, you're going to be gone like forever or for a very long time. Like, is it really worth
I
it?
mean,
Especially when you have kids too, and it's like, are you
but
serious?
your motive is not even warrant for her death. Like, I just
Exactly.
cannot believe that.
Right.
That
You
is
have
my
full custody of those kids.
yes. You got what you wanted. Move forward.
Exactly. So anyway, if you ladies don't have anything else to add, we can go ahead and just close the book on Amanda and Grant, unless you ladies have anything else to add.
Nope, I'm
No,
good with him.
no.
I have
Hit the
nothing else.
gavel.
Okay,
Right.
we're gonna hit
Okay.
the gavel
Tap,
and
tap.
close the
Yes.
book on Amanda and Grant Hayes. So in our last episode, Renee did mention that she's kind of scary, but she loves the true crime. But I didn't really chime in on that. But I just wanted to kind of piggyback off what Renee said. Girl, I have to agree with you, okay? As scary as I am, and if you know me in real life, you already know the level of scary I am. But I can look at the ID channel all day, the Oxygen mystery shows all day, but I do not like scary movies.
Right.
Don't play no jokes on me in the dark. You know, and I'll go on and on and on from there, right? There's something about this true crime stuff. Now, I try not to watch it a whole lot when I'm home alone, or like I try not to let it be my last show I watch before I go to sleep, because I done had some dreams about some of this stuff. Like I've had dreams that ended up, girl, I have a real live mystery show in my dream.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
I realized, oh wait, I watched whatever before I went to sleep. Maybe that had something to do with it. So anyway, whether that's true or not, I believe that. So I try not to watch this stuff right before I go to sleep. But I can talk about these cases all day, ladies.
Yeah, because it can be a little consuming.
Yeah,
mentally.
I can't look at it at night anymore. I used to be able to, but now I can't look at it like before I'm about to go to sleep, or when it's dark in the house, you know, and it's late night.
So I take it both of you are no options for haunted houses come October.
Oh no.
No haunted.
I mean, I might do it, but it's not something that I would want to do. I mean, like if I was like peer pressure and stuff, and you know, like I'm out with a group and everybody's going, then I'll probably go. But I would want to be in the middle, you know,
You
like
want
I want to be in the front or the back.
I did that with my kids back in the day, but just to make a choice to say, hey, I'm going to the haunted house.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even like Six Flags when they do that the Fright Fest at Six Flags and stuff.
Really?
That scares me. I don't like people. Well, I don't know.
So y'all are
like
on a
clowns,
different
I don't
level.
like things that are
okay.
covered, like your face is covered, like I can't see who you are.
Okay.
Like I don't do any of those things, daytime or nighttime. Like no, even if you're Mickey Mouse, I don't want you coming up on me. Like, 'cause I don't know who you are.
Now
Like,
she takes her fears to a different level.
Like if just because you have a Mickey Mouse costume on does not mean that you can still come up and hug me. Like, I don't know you. No, that's scary.
Got you.
That's weird.
Oh wow, this is a whole nother level. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
I got a lot going on in my head. But
that is too funny. Okay, sippers. So now we're going to move into a segment on our show that we call Spill the Wine. Our Spill the Wine segment is where you, our listeners, aka sippers, you send us an email or DM asking our opinion about a situation that you have going on in your life. After we share your situation with our audience, the three of us will give our opinions on how you should handle the situation at hand. All Spill the Wine submissions are anonymous and we will never share your identity. So with that being said, ladies, what is our Spill the Wine for today?
Ooh, I think Demetria's got our Spill the Wine.
Okay, on this Spill the Wine segment, the writer wrote us to state, my boyfriend and I have been together for over a little bit of 2 years. We're together a lot, but he's gone maybe a week or a day or two out of the month, and he visits his family and has trips that he goes on for work. But one day I found a plane ticket and the name on it was not his name. I quickly went through the internet and Googled his name, and the name that he gave me and the name on the ticket and the name on his driver's license did not match. But this is not the name that I know him as. I quickly did an internet search again to make sure that the person that I was searching for was the guy that I've been knowing for a little over 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
This man is noted to have 3 kids and has been married for 3 years. My heart dropped.
How he get over it? Okay, keep going. No, keep going.
My heart dropped and my jaw hit the floor. I don't know the man that I've been with for a little over 2 years. My question to you ladies is, do I leave without saying anything or tell him what I do know? Please advise. I need help ASAP.
Ooh.
Who wants to go first, Martia? You have something?
You know what? I don't know. This might be a little dark of me to say.
Okay.
But I would leave without saying anything because I feel like when a person has a second or third or other identity and you got a whole family somewhere, that's like serial killer status.
Yeah.
So, or, and like I said, that might be extreme, but we just came off that case. And so that's still on my mind. Girl, I would pack up my stuff one day while he's at work and dip out. And look, the same way he hid his name from you, you need to change up some stuff in your life, like move to a different town, change your identity.
I know, but they've been together for 2 years and he travels and visit family for like weeks and days. So you're gone for weeks and days.
Well, here's a question, and I don't know if she shared this with you or not, but does she know any of his family members? Like, has she met his sister?
It's not stated in here. She just, at the end, she did state that she was scared to tell her family and friends because of the way they may react to that information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wouldn't even be part of my decision making anything. Like I wouldn't even care at that point on I would be my whole thing. I would just be thinking on getting the hell out. So as soon as you leave for work or your trip, I would already have the movers set up to come on that day.
Boom.
I would, be out of here. I would already have my next apartment together. Like, do they live together?
Exactly. She said the name that she know him as is not the same name that's on the plane ticket or in his wallet.
Like I've always said, you got to plot. You got to, like I get it from my girl Wendy Williams, who y'all hate.
My girl,
but you just can't pop up one day and be like, cousin mine, like I know about your family and all. No, you got to plot. You just play the game. You just sit there and you get all your stuff together, and then when it's time, boom, you hit the switch and you turn it on. And you be like, all right, I got the movers at 7:00 in the morning. I'll be done by like noon or 2:00 in the afternoon. I'll have my next apartment already got that set up on this date. I done have my phone changed on this day. I would have everything laid out and I would just be gone. But
my thing is, why do people always equate time? Like she's like, I've been with him 2 years plus.
Everybody does that. I know. I hate that. I even do that myself. But
girl, if you see one red flag, run. One flag.
But it's something that I think that everybody does, or a lot of people do. Like you're like, well, I've been with this person for X many years, and this. Even I do that, and it irritates me too. But you're just like, oh, you but then
I guess because you think of all the time you invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, because time matters.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I
Yeah,
just hate to hear that that's the reason why you don't want to leave.
Right.
Because of the time. Like, no, he's telling you his name is different from what he told you.
Like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm surprised that she even got access to his license, especially if he has a whole nother life someplace else. He was
And
slipping.
if he's covered up things like that, imagine what else he's probably lied about too. So that's why I feel like, why talk to him about it? Take away what I said about him being a psycho serial killer, right?
Yeah.
But just on a general level, why talk to him about it at all? He's already lied about something huge and major,
right?
Like, you
think about all the stuff that he lied about that she probably doesn't even know about yet.
Yeah,
and
she just did a search for his name, and it wasn't that name that he gave her for 2 years plus.
And what will he say? Oh, that's not me. Like, he's probably not going to tell the truth, even if she confronts him. So, I mean, I just feel like 2 years, 20 years, it is time to move on with life when you come across something like that. Talk about.
So don't even let him know. Just pack your stuff and move out.
Why would she explain herself to him and he haven't been explaining himself to her? No.
True.
And, as people, not just as women or just as men, but as people in general, we have to do a better job of recognizing our worth. You're worth more than that. The way that he's treated her, and then what she looked like trying to explain to him why she's leaving.
Yeah. Like, what? You explaining?
We gotta
he is
married.
Married for 3 years with 3 kids. That was in her search. She said.
Wait a minute. So he was married for only a year and already done a
he's
whole
been married
new relationship.
He's been married for 3 years with 3 kids.
And they was together for 2 years.
Wow.
And they've been together for 2. But she said he goes on trips. Maybe I wonder if during the trips and the family visits, that's when he's with the wife. I don't know.
Because how are you even living with this woman that wrote this situation wrote this whatever? How are you living with her, but you have a family? Like, what are you saying to your family when you're away for weeks at a time?
Yeah.
Like, we don't even really know how much time he's really spending with the person who wrote this. So
she didn't indicate that. But she was like, let me know ASAP. But
ASAP, girl, you start planning. Start tomorrow.
Hopefully she already moved out.
Today. Start tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you get a list. Okay, you put on that list apartment search. You need to check that off because
that's number one.
To get your apartment together. You make sure that you have your phone. You call your phone company and say, change my number.
Yes.
Do it all on the same day.
Don't tell him
all the same day that you're leaving.
Yeah, and don't tell him when you're leaving. That's the thing that get
me. Say nothing.
I'm leaving you tomorrow. No, don't say
you won't be here tomorrow. You might not.
Yeah, just leave
tomorrow.
Just leave. Don't say I'm gonna leave day after, 2 days after our anniversary. Just leave.
Yeah.
And not trying to be funny, but I mean, this is none of my business, but I wonder what is in her name. Like, is the apartment in her name? Are the utilities in her name? Yeah. Because when people have situations like that, I can't imagine that they bought a house together. It wouldn't he put his name on anything. You know what I'm saying? So that probably that could put her in a financial bind picking up and leaving like that.
Especially if his name is, could he be a co-signer then?
If his name is different? They wouldn't be able to have property if if you're going by a whole different name because legally you can't sign paperwork and all that stuff. But because you got to have social security numbers and all this stuff, your documents. But apartments, I mean, she could have probably had an apartment and he just moved in with her, or they could even share an apartment. But I don't even think that because you have to use your name
on something.
Because it could be. You're right. It could be in his name. She's just moved in.
That's
but
even
he's
better.
Telling her I'm Robert and his name is really Billy.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, she needs to go on and get up out of there then. But if it's not, I would hate for her to have any financial hardships because of it.
That's why you plot and you make sure you have everything together. You don't have to leave right this minute because I mean, if he doesn't know that you just play the game for a little bit while you get your stuff together and while you have your money together. Your your next move. And then,
great advice. Collect what you need before you just put yourself out there.
Yeah. Because that's why I'm gonna say that's why people get killed. But sometimes when they confront the other person about the secrets that they've been hiding, and then they become a victim.
That's what I'm
scared about.
She might be on a TV show next. Girl, take your time, girl. Take your time.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I just wouldn't talk to him because you don't know when someone's hiding that much. Like Renee was saying, you just never know what they're they're capable of. I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they're gonna get exposed. You know, some people might take it a whole different way.
Right.
You know, so
Well, can you imagine that though? You've been with somebody 2 years, you've been calling that individual that name.
Yeah.
You know him. What if she got a tattoo? Girl, I hope you don't have a tattoo with his name. Oh Lord, don't
You
get a
know what?
don't do the tattoo, girl. Don't do it.
I hope not. I hope there's no
Oh God.
tattoo.
Oh, please don't have kids. Are there kids? Oh no, not the
No.
kids.
Oof.
No, because he could get away with not putting his name on the birth certificate. You know, he's like, oh no, I don't want to put my name on there. You know, you can get away with that. Oh my goodness.
I'm wishing you luck, honey.
Yes, good luck. Whatever you decide, good luck. And maybe you'll write us again just to give us an update, because I would like to know what you decided to do.
Right.
Wow. Well, sippers, if you would like to submit a spill the wine to us, feel free to DM us on any of our social media platforms. You can find us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, and all of those places. We are at sipnunwine, no spaces, no underscores, or you can email us at sipnunwine@gmail.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. All right, ladies. So
thank you. Yes.
So at this time, ladies, I would like to highlight a missing persons case. The case that I'll be highlighting today has been on my mind since I heard about it a few years ago. So I'm going to get into that if you ladies are okay with it.
Yep.
All right. So this missing persons case is from 31 years ago. Wow. So 31 years ago, on March 18th, 1990, twin 15-year-old girls went missing from Augusta, Georgia, and the family is still looking for answers. So the twins, they were named Danette and Jeanette, I hope I'm saying that right, Danette and Jeanette Millbrook. They went to church on the morning of March 18th, 1990. After church, they went to lunch at a local Church's Chicken. And after they had lunch, they told their mom that while they were coming home, a white van had been following them. Well, their mother, she didn't see any sign of a white van. She looked out the window, kind of canvassed the neighborhood. So she told the girls they had nothing to worry about. So after they talked to their mother about their concerns, their mother just kind of told them, don't worry about it. It was probably nothing. And the twins left their home again around 3:00 p.m. on March 18th, 1990. So they left the house on foot. One of their stops was to their godfather's house. They went to his home and asked him for some bus fare money. After they left their godfather's home, they walked and visited their sister, and they also visited a cousin. One of their last stops that day, again, they were walking through the neighborhood. So one of their last stops was at a local gas station convenience store where they purchased chips and a drink. Unfortunately, the twins were never seen again. So initially, isn't that sad?
Oh my gosh. Wait, how old were they again? I'm sorry.
15-year-old twins.
Wow.
So their mother, Mary Sturgis, when the girls didn't make it home by dark, she did call into the police department, and initially they treated the case as a runaway. Basically, the detective said that, kids run away, they'll, try to see what they can do, but the girls probably just ran away. And the mother was so upset. And that was in 1990 when they disappeared. But unfortunately, in 1991, almost a year after their disappearance, the case was closed. And the case was right. The girls were not found, but the case was closed because an anonymous caller reported that they saw the girls leaving. This person didn't say that they saw them leaving a house or leaving the neighborhood. They didn't say where they saw them leaving from. They gave no other details except they saw the girls leaving. And the police department at that time closed the case. So fast forward to 1993, and someone else called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They called and said that the twins had been found, which that was also not true. So by 2004, the twins' younger sister, who was 12 at the time the girls disappeared, she started trying to get the case reopened. And from 2004 all the way to 2013, that's how long it took for her to plead with the police department to reopen the case. So within that 9 years, by 2013, their sister was able to get the case reopened. Unfortunately, the case is still unsolved. Right now, they are said to be the only set of twins to have gone missing in the United States whose disappearance still remains unsolved. And
oh man, my heart breaks.
Yeah, exactly. And Mary Sturgis, their mother, she's still alive to this day. And she said that at the time that her children went missing, the police didn't do anything, and that was not uncommon for minorities or children of color. So, when they were when the police department was very nonchalant about, saying the kids ran away, I guess that was something that just happened back then when minorities or children of color, were reported missing. So there's been a lot of speculation about what happened to the twins. Their case has been featured on several podcasts and TV shows in recent years, but their family, specifically their mother, has still been left with no answers as to what happened.
And what city was this again?
This was in Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta, Georgia. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, no, man.
Yep. So, like I said, this year made 31 years back on March 18th that they went missing.
31 years.
Yes.
Oh,
so, sippers, if you're listening and if you think you may have any information about the disappearance of Danette and Jeanette Millbrook, make sure you contact the Richmond County Sheriff's Office in Augusta, Georgia with any information that you may have. What you can also do if you want more information, of course, you can Google the name Danette and Jeanette Millbrook, but there will also be a post on our Instagram and Facebook page so you can see the pictures and, the flyer that circulated. Because one thing that I feel so bad for is when people are missing and their families don't have any answers to.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So they have. Right. They didn't have no closure. So, so one thing that I just hope for this particular family and any family dealing with a missing person, I just hope that they find closure at some point, especially the mom.
Closure,
anyway.
Closure or just a resolution to the case.
What happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because just having that out there, that, oh my gosh.
I
can't even imagine.
It's so sad. And then, with Augusta being in Georgia and it's about an hour and a half away from me, I guess when I heard about this case a few years ago, it's something that I just hadn't been able to forget. But I kind of wondered why I hadn't heard about it before I did,
Why?
I can't remember the show that I saw that highlighted this case, but they did like a mini series, like a mini documentary. I think it was like a 3 or 4 part documentary, but unfortunately, they did go back and interview some people that were in the neighborhood at the time,
after
family members.
Too late now.
Yeah, exactly. So they really weren't able to.
It's just heartbreaking how we just get overseen. Like, they just ran away.
How they treat,
and I mean, you closed that case within a year. Like, were you even trying?
It doesn't seem like it. Not at all.
Not one person, but 2 individuals were missing.
Right.
You just gave up. Like, wow.
Yeah. So prayers up from me to the Millbrook family on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right, ladies. So that's all I have as far as our focus on the missing persons case for this episode. So now, we are going to move into our segment called Take Another Sip. This particular segment is where we share something with our sippers, something that made us want to take another sip of our drink, another 1 sip, another 2 sip, maybe even 3 sips. It just depends on what it is.
I'm doing a pre-sip right now.
Okay, so who has a Take Another Sip to share?
I do. Renee does.
Okay, Renee, what's going on, girl?
But I don't know if y'all want to sip after this, so you might want to take a sip before. So
I'm doing the pre. Something
Let
told
me
me
do the pre-sip.
Something told me do a pre, so I did a pre.
Take your pre-sip. Okay,
all right, I just did.
There's a traveling museum where it goes from country to country, and it's called the Disgusting Food Museum. But this food museum, which is traveling right now, it's in Sweden, and it's in a country called Malamo. I think that's how you pronounce it, but they broke new ground recently when it launched an exhibition called World's Weirdest Alcohol. And, we're all about alcohol. Well, we're not all about alcohol here, but I mean, we like drinks. We like alcohol. So things that's going to be featured in the exhibit, is stuff that had to be considered drinkable somewhere in the world, just anywhere in the world, as long as it's considered drinkable. Okay, so are you guys ready for some of the things that are
I don't know.
I'm not ready.
I think I got a feeling. Oh my gosh, help me.
Yeah, so we have whale testicle beer. Fecal wine, Korean medicinal rice wine brewed with human feces. There's an Icelandic beer brewed with smoked whale testicles. There's a sample of the world's strongest beer that's served inside of a taxidermied squirrel, and the ABV, the alcohol by volume content, is 55, when usually beer is roughly about 4.5%, but this is 55%.
Who came up with the taxidermy squirrel idea, though?
Yes. It's in the mouth of the squirrel. I saw the picture, and the squirrel's mouth is open, and the beer is coming out of it. The beer bottle is coming out of it. There is a There's English gin flavored with nettle and ants and chicha. I'm not sure what that is.
I've taken about 3 sips so far, ladies, just to let you know.
Okay.
And then there's an ancient Peruvian corn beer with the brewing process that involves spit.
What?
That's all in this museum. So if anybody's interested in going to the Disgusting Food Museum, look it up. It's in Sweden right now. I seen a couple of years ago it was in Los Angeles. So I mean, get your tickets if you want to go. But that's, if that's your thing, if you want to taste a couple of things, I don't want to have any of it. But when I saw that, I almost gagged a little bit,
Right.
And I'm not sure why.
I'm speechless. I'm sorry. I can't say anything.
Right. Like, I mean,
you're involving urine and
feces.
And,
I mean, just the last one, that Peruvian corn beer that's brewed, the brewing process involves spit.
Fecal matter.
Like,
okay, spit. I thought you were going back to the one with fecal matter because I'm still stuck on that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Whose saliva are they?
I don't even matter.
Okay.
It don't even matter.
Right.
I almost gagged just thinking about it.
Yeah, so that's to take another sip, but I don't know if you want to take another sip on that one.
I'm glad I did my pre-sip.
Yeah, like
I took another sip because I know what I'm drinking. I have full confidence that the alcohol I poured is actually the alcohol that I think it's supposed to be. So,
yep. Wow. But there you go. So I'm shouting out you guys. So if you guys at the Disgusting Food Museum, if you guys get a couple of extra ticket sales, you're welcome. There you go.
Wow. Well, ladies, today was a great show. It's always a pleasure interacting with not just my beautiful co-hosts, but also knowing that we have an audience of sippers that are, listening to us with our podcast that we have going on. Hey. Okay, sippers, this concludes this week's episode of Sip and Unwind. Please make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Sip and Unwind. You can find us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
We everywhere, y'all.
Exactly. And everywhere podcasts are posted. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, sippers.